Alrighty then, we're gonna get started. So first up is Christina Petrakis. This is, did I say it right? Petrakis. This is Christina's second year working at the Sustainable Development Institute. Christina was formerly a phenology intern, but now is a limited term employee fruit tree caretaker. She is an enrolled Menominee and resides in Menominee County. Christina has 2 daughters and 2 stepsons. She graduated with her associate's degree in public administration at the College of Menominee Nation on May 21st, 2022, and will return to CMN to pursue a bachelor's degree in public administration in the fall. Her career path is forever changed as she obtains new educational experiences and internships, currently deciding if she should obtain a degree in agriculture and natural resources. This internship starts her journey in acquiring more knowledge about agriculture and if this career field is for her. Christina hopes to gain the skills and knowledge to grow her own garden and fruit trees. Maintaining food security and ways to uphold the Menominee community's sovereignty has always intrigued Christina. Fieldwork and gathering information will demonstrate the importance of the school's commitment to environmental sustainability. So please welcome Christina.
So I'm Christina Petrakis, the LT Tree Caretaker. This internship opportunity targets food security, which gives me a sense of pride in my work. I travel to 3 different locations, which is Menominee, Stockbridge, and Oneida, to care for different trees. Here are some of my talking points. What is the long-term goal? Why plant plum trees? How many trees have been planted? And when will planted fruit trees bear fruit? What is the long-term goal? The long-term goal of this project is to increase health and wellness among the Indigenous communities, Oneida, Stockbridge, and Menominee, by improving local fruit production and availability to the residents. Why plant plum trees? Well, plum trees are one of the many species of fruits native to the land and continue to be used by Indigenous people. They are also one extinct due to invasive species and global warming. It is a good fruit to use for intensified food production. How many fruit trees have been planted? Menominee have 6 apple trees at the greenhouse, 15 apple trees on the phenology trail, and 43 plum trees and 10 apple trees in the garden. We also have in Stockbridge 10 trees at the farm garden, which is colored in purple. And at the environmental office, we have 5 trees, which is colored in red. And in Oneida, we have the 4-H garden, which has 25 trees. When will planted fruit trees bear fruit? Plums take up to 4 to 5 years for young trees to develop fruit, and 3 to 6 years for apple trees. Once fruits are available, they can be used to make pies, jams, or drinks in the community. Materials I use throughout the summer, which is the water bucket, weeding pole, benefits, helps keep teeth healthy, keeps your heart healthy, keeps the digestive system healthy, detoxifies the liver, and improves further. Plum benefits. Plums improve bone health, heart health, and helps protect against high blood pressure, and also helps with the immune system. Materials I use throughout the summer, which is water bucket, weeding hole, rake, fertilizer, gloves, rubber mallet, and cutting scissors. And water requirement for the trees is 2 gallons of water once a week when the weather is very hot or in a drought. The more water they need. If it's a young apple tree or plum tree, they need frequent watering. 114 trees. The tool is called Menominee, which is a Menominee word for weeding hole. This tool requires a little elbow grease, but it's an important tool I use all summer long, clearing weeds and loosening the soil. Checking tree leaves for disease. Leaves are the most important part of the tree because leaves produce the food for the tree through a process called photosynthesis. Observing the leaves is the easiest way to identify if the tree is dying. I also check trees for pests. This is important because pests can cause illness and even kill a tree. Japanese beetles kills fruit trees, and I found them in all 3 locations. I also researched pests and disease remedies. Just apple cider vinegar keeps insects from eating leaves on plant trees. Soap and water, which is a repellent against pests. Baking soda, which is an antifungal agent for trees. You use this on the tree stem or fungus grows. Remedies I use often as coffee grounds. I spread used coffee grounds around the base of the tree to keep bats away. And ground cinnamon I'll do the same process because it connects. Home remedies, you have to do these processes frequently. Interesting facts. Plums are grown on every continent except Antarctica. Apples are members of the rose family. Apple trees can live to be over 100 years old. Plums symbolize good fortune in Chinese culture, and plums have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years old. Here we planted tobacco. As a group, we each got our hands dirty and planted our own tobacco plots. I found that planting and caring for plants is very therapeutic. One of my highlights of the summer is my first time canoeing. We canoed at least 5 miles from Huckleberry Harbor to Shelman Lake. This was a great opportunity to enjoy ourselves along with experience. We learned about wild rice, and I also found my future hobby. Waewaenen, thank you everyone. And thank you for the SDA.
Anybody have any questions for Christina? All right, none. So thank you, Christina, for your work.
How much do you have to Oh, I see.
Right. We got a question. I think I can help with that. So some of the trees, they were ordered from a fruit tree company, and they were brought here, and they were planted in the garden, and some of them then were directly planted out in these other locations.
When you started walking that bare root, planted here on the garden, and did you take any of the soil from there with it to the other side?
I don't know, I didn't plant them. Sorry. Yeah. Maybe Dulce knows that. Is you, when you transplanted the trees from the garden to this location, did you keep the dirt around the roots?
Yeah, because the
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next, I want to introduce Dr. Kate Quick. She was the head of the Geoscience program here, and she worked with mentored four of the interns, and she's going to be introducing them.
Two teams of two folks, so I'm representing the Geoscience squad here. It's important to note that we're very evenly divided between cat people and dog people. And so, but the teams, in fact, are split for cat animals. Anyway, Matayah, Escalante, and Rylee Maulson are going to present on their summer internship on glacial geology. Matayah is an intern through the Sustainable Development Institute and is part of the geoscience research taking place here at CMN. She's going into her third year of college at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay, working towards a bachelor's in communication with an emphasis in journalism and pursuing a minor in graphic design. She was looking forward to her internship this summer, learning new things and picking up new skills. I think that was supposed to be past tense, and she really had a great time this summer in her internship, learning new things and picking up new skills. All right, and Rylee. Rylee, this is Rylee Maulson's second year as an intern at CMN. She will be beginning her sophomore year at UW Oshkosh this fall, where she's hoping to earn a bachelor's in education with a minor in psychology, though we're trying to push her to do it in more sciencey stuff. I didn't say that out loud. Rylee plans to later go to the University of Michigan to earn her master's and PhD in education and psychology, or maybe geoscience, in hopes to one day become a college professor of psychology or geoscience. Rylee enjoys being outdoors and interacting with nature. She is a hands-on learner and likes to learn new things. She also enjoys reading and watching TV in her free time, and she hopes to learn some information. She has really learned a lot of information about geoscience in her internship this year, and has taken away some useful skills to put forth in the future, as well as better knowledge about our planet. So without further ado, you guys can come on over here by the mic. And I just want to say the geoscience folks, we work with a lot of different people, and they did an awesome job. So I'm really proud of them. So here you guys go. Thank you, Kerry, for the introduction. So we'll get into introductions on the next slide, but my name is Rylee. And we'll kind of be explaining what we did over the summer. All right, so my name is Rylee Maulson, and as I was introduced a few seconds ago, I am a geoscience research intern, and we focus on the glacial part of it, and I'm also going to do really Oshkosh.
Escalante
So this was one of our very first trips that we went to. It was sort of all the interns that went to this, and we met a lady named Rebecca. She was from Minnesota. We took a trip around the reservation, starting in Yoga and made our way up 55 to some different forest spots. And at each forest spot, we essentially just collected some little flags that they had out in the woods for testing. And here we went to Escalante State Park, and it's a National Historic Landmark, and it is one of Wisconsin's most important archaeological sites. The people settled the field were settled here, built large flat-top mounds resembling pyramids, and also built stockades, which you can see in like the biggest photo right there. They put that around the village. This trip is when we went to Lake Michigan to study and learn about coastal erosion. We looked at samples of beach, and a few of the geoscience researchers from UW-Madison met us there and helped instructed us on the way. Those people were Luke, Chelsea, and Rudy, and they helped us quite a lot this summer. I really appreciated it. This was the first day that we went to Madison, and we first went to going on a tour around the campus up there, and our tour guide, his name was Silas, and he taught us about the history of the land. And then we went to the geology building, we took a tour, and we learned about the different types of research that the professor Luke was doing there with his team. And the last thing we did was go to the geology museum. And this is the second day in Madison. We first went this way to the Table Mounds, which is the majority of the pictures on this. And then we later went to the Wisconsin Geological Survey core laboratory and looked at the different core samples they dug up. Those are the two photos on the right. And this is when we went back to Madison the following week. Us and the other geoscience interns met with the team from UW-Madison, and we split up to do like our different projects essentially. And the and I are tasked with taking pictures of the Icelandic rocks that they brought back, and this is kind of a process of that. And we used a software called ImageJ, which we essentially use to take the different analytics of the sediment. And the photo on the left is one of the spreadsheets that we put the information into, and then with that information, we then made a chart or histogram, which is down at the bottom. And
with those histograms, we were able to come to the conclusion that so we took the sediment from Wisconsin and then the sediment from a glacier in Antarctica, and we compiled those, and essentially we found out that the sediment from Antarctica was more well-rounded, which means that it was in the transportation process longer from the glacier, which means that it was kind of like weathered, if you will. And here we were able to check out a couple of locations on the Ice Age Trail. We went to the entire dells and we were able to explore some, there wasn't many, but we were able to explore some of the striations that were there. And it was a very smooth trip overall. And we ended up stopping in another place very briefly where Esters and Maulson can be found. And then we went to Red Granite Quarry. We met with the WC, we met in a group where we learned how to use the compass down on the bottom to measure the directions of striations. And striations are essentially like the marks that glaciers leave behind. And then when we went to McCann Springs Park, we were able to look at where a tunnel channel formed. And this was the person that we spent with Crystal. And we went and canoed with her all the way from the dam to Huckleberry Harbor, stopping for lunch. And then during the trip, we were able to see where Mulberry's beds used to be in Channel Lake and where they are.
Our second day with Crystal involved testing the water levels. We tested the waters in the Wolf River and then Shawnee Lake. We used waders to be able to work in the water, and we stopped at a location where we conducted water tests. And at the water testing, checked for coliform bacteria, nitrate levels, pH levels, and yodel. Our third day with Crystal, we reviewed the data we collected and the water samples. And unfortunately, we concluded that wild rice, as it is now, is unlikely to grow in the Shawnee Lake. After we moved to the Dells, our fall moved to the Dells.
Picture David.
We had the opportunity to work with the Shawnee DNR, Scott Kennedy, who is a water management specialist. We learned quite a lot from him, and we had the opportunity to shadow him where we met with the property owner that was violating wetland laws. And then following the meeting with the property owner, he educated us on some navigable waterways. One of the examples of a navigable waterway would be that image on the left. The water is only 3 inches deep, but it's still considered navigable if you take into consideration the wet season. And then navigable waters are protected under certain laws. Here we had the opportunity to meet with Google, where some researchers from UW Madison who came to spend the day with us. They took us to a couple of old rocks in Wisconsin, showing us a couple that are around 1.8 billion years old, another that was 1.4, and then following those we saw some rocks that were around a couple million. And then here we're given the opportunity to learn from Jeff Green. He took the time to show us various areas around the reservation. We said how the glaciers. We were able to see the lowest point of the glacier spot, and then we're able to see the high point where the glacier spot. We saw the hills that the glacier created from sediment flowing at the top, and it was just a great opportunity to learn with him. And then we had another opportunity to work with Jeff, where we did an interview over the podcast, and he taught us about the glacial history in Wisconsin and how surrounding people lived during that time. And he also talked about the stories passed down that following interpretation, they talked about information of the land and its history. And a important lesson we learned from Jeff was to ask the story rather than to just tell. And here we would like to thank Kate, Rebecca, the researchers from UW Madison, Lee, Jeremy, and Nick from SDI, and then Staff, which was our our funders and staff for the college nomination.
All right, so I just want to say like that those kind of fancy pants research posters that you saw, they were presenting those to our UW Madison colleagues yesterday. And then it's like cutting edge research. They were totally, the professor and grad student were getting into arguments about how to interpret it and stuff. So it's pretty cool that they get to do that. Does anyone have any questions?
Ms. How, is there an address for the podcast? Is it public?
Can we make that public? Or we want to do that?
It's not public yet,
It's not public.
and I don't know if it will be.
All right.
Right. Well, thank you guys. Okay, next up, we have the coastal erosion geoscience take team. Alexandria Ehlert and David Kitson, Jr. Alexandria is currently enrolled as a student at CMN and has recently changed to natural resources program. Though maybe she'll also change to geoscience. No one notices the trend here. They are in pursuit to earn an associate's degree in natural resources at CMN and then transfer to a four-year university to receive a bachelor's in a related program. After taking an environmental science course and sustainable development course last semester, Alexandria realized that they would be much happier in a career field that involves working with and being around nature. Alex can play 4 different instruments and enjoys kayaking and fishing. They're hoping to use the experiences from this geoscience internship for their degree and for when they pursue future careers in a similar field. And David Kitson Jr. is a 31-year-old enrolled Menominee of the Menominee Indian tribe. And as he likes to tell everyone, his horoscope sign is Leo. So
Leo season.
David is a full-time student attending College of Menominee Nation, pursuing a bachelor's degree in public administration. David lives in Shawano and his boyfriend Brandon and their dog Sunshine. He is an alumni of Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, graduating from there in spring 2018 with an associate's degree in human resources, as well as 3 certificates related to that field. David graduated from the College of Menominee Nation in spring 2021 with an associate's degree in early childhood education. He recently completed the lay advocacy training offered by Tribal Court. Once approved for tribal bar, David will be able to assist his fellow tribal members who need representation in court. David has always envisioned himself bringing his knowledge back to his hometown. He plans on running for the Menominee Tribal Legislature in the near future and obtain the tribal chairperson position. Being resilient and determined to succeed is what continues to keep him reaching for his goals. All right, I'll turn the stage over and you guys can hear all about coastal erosion and other things.
Welcome, everybody. We can get started. Like we were just introduced, me and Alexandria did the geoscience research internship this summer. We focused on coastal erosion. We learned quite a bit. Before we start, we'll start with introductions. As Kate had mentioned, my name is David. I'm 31, a student here at CMN. This is my first time as a SDI intern, so it was a lot to take in. These 2 pictures are trips that we took, as well as my German for Sunshine.
My name is Alexandria. I'm a student at CMN and I'm in the Natural Resources program. This is my first time as an intern here with SDI, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to participate in the activities planned this summer. My free time was spent kayaking, reading, and hanging out with my pets, and learning to my community.
Our first trip, we actually took 2 trips. It was to Site 1, Site 2 that CMN and SDI oversee. Menominee forest plots, we had to pick up flags. So the first flags from the first spot were more difficult because the underbrush was overgrown. You can see from the photos that the second area actually was easier. Top it off, it was really pouring out the entire time, and there's a lot of mosquitoes. Our second trip was to Escalante State Park. There are different tribes rumored who have been there, but it's not known which one for sure. The most popular hypothesis given away in the name is a small group of Aztecs. However, the reason that is believed is because there's evidence of human sacrifices found. But now the main hypothesis is the Middle Mississippian tribe. Our third trip, we did Point Beach, which was me and Alexandria's main focal point. These photos are from when we were digging the sand to do the megatite lines. Megatite is a mineral that's magnetic. Each of these lines is from a different storm, so when the line is thicker, it means a stronger storm actually went through this area. We collected sediment samples, and what we were trying to see was how the grain sizes are different depending on where they were collected. It might be difficult to see, but we actually marked each spot that we took. We collected samples from 11 different areas, from the top of the sand dune all the way down to the first sandbar within Lake Michigan. The 11 different spots were measured by about 5 of my paces, are noticeable marks along the coast. We used examples, top of the dune, bottom of dune, top of sandbar, lakeside of sandbar, and more. Taking samples from each of these places was to ensure we could see the differences in grain sizes caused by natural processes.
This is the last slide from Point Beach. Here we can see the results from our sand samples. You can see the finer samples were from the dune and sandbar spots. You can kind of see from the picture on there. The largest ones were from spot 6, where at the point where the waves of the coastline, and you can see we're kind of zooming a little bit there. And the waves have enough energy to move the bigger particles, which is why this is where that's from. This is from our trip to Madison. This is Cave of the Mountains. The cave system is estimated to have formed about 1 to 2 million years ago and is made of limestone. As you can see on the right there, that is actually a green river. This is from the Wisconsin Geological Survey Corps repository, which is also from our trip to Madison. There are different cores here that are taken from throughout the state, and some are taken over well over 100 years ago. The cores or rocks are sediment collected from different locations for a variety of different reasons. My favorite part was the walking on history of it was not. This is our trip to Eau Claire Dells to view along the Ice Age Trail. We looked for striations, but we didn't really see that many. But later on, I found out from Luke, who's professor, you didn't mention that the kind of jaggedness is from cavitation, which is kind of a long process to explain. Again, see kind of the jaggedness.
So one of our trips, we went back to Red Granite Quarry, which was amazing. The granite that is found here is actually typically far beneath the surface, but it is man-made, so they use dynamite to blast it and bring it out and use for building at that time. There were striations that we studied and measured directions, and then our new trip.
We went down Wolf River and stopped at Huckleberry Harbor for lunch, and then further down to Shauna Lake to review where the wild rice used to grow. So at Huckleberry Harbor, we actually had kind of a traditional lunch. So there were buffalo sandwiches, sweet potato chips, little corn chips, wild rice, horchata, and brown fish and tofu sandwich. That was so good. And then this was our data collection with Crystal. One way we collect data was with water testing kits to see the different quality of water in the Wolf River as well as Shauna Lake. And also piezometer to measure the temperature of the ground and surface water as well as depth. And also show how to collect core samples, which is fun.
We also went through those results, and the data told us that obviously water in Shauna Lake is worse than Wolf River. The results from the thermometer, you can see our temperature difference, what dips and goes with nighttime or daytime. That was from the last day of our trip with Crystal.
These are from our geology through the ages with Rudy and Tickle, who are also from UW-Madison. They're both grad students. The rock on the left is actually 1.4 billion years old, and the one on the right is 1.8 billion years old, so very, very old. And we also kind of saw along the way that there were deposits, which you can kind of see here. This is from Quantum City Park, and this is from Indiana, the glacial outwash, and there's a bunch of stuff that was deposited. The rocks on the left side were about a couple million years old, which are much younger than billions of years old. And then also we saw some little fossils at the second one. And then these are from our Jeffrino rice work trip. So we first started at the lowest point on reservation, and we worked up to the highest one. So on the left, you can see how it's flat there. There's not as much vegetation. On the right, you kind of see that there's a hill on the back, and you can see a lot more vegetation. So the one on the right is where the glaciers were longest ago.
We do want to acknowledge our sponsors, the establishments that make this possible, the National Science Foundation, CMN, UW-Madison, and SDI.
We'd also like to give a special thanks to our mentor team, like the UW-Madison mentors who are like Xavier Strupicano and Dr. Crystal Ng from the University of Minnesota.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
All right.
Cool, thanks. Nice job, guys. Next up is Rachel Otradovec. Rachel is a student here at CMN who has already received her Associate in Arts and Sciences with an emphasis in humanities. She is currently starting her next journey in natural resources, hoping to eventually get her Bachelor of Sustainable Agriculture. Rachel is a mother of 3 and has been married to her love for 23 years. Nikki's here. Rachel is also a grandma for the first time to a baby girl named Honey. Honey's birthday. So come on up, Rachel.
There it is.
I thought you had it loaded.
I did. Just gotta find it to share. All right, Rachel, whenever you're ready.
The ancestors wanted teachings. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them. Yeah, there's one thought, sorry. I don't know. Is there that time to say that?
Should be.
20 seconds is a long time.
Yeah.
Here, I'll check.
I was saying, I don't think it's moving.
I don't think it is. Oh, let me move this guy right here. Put that, apply to all.
It's the
Can you minimize the whole screen?
This way. All right, and then we'll just go ahead.
Okay, greetings to Lily. My name is Rachel Otradovec. I am with the Ag program here at SDI. So I got to be able to play with her. She'll help me with her. My daughter Emerald. We'll take you on a little journey.
There.
I did a lot of cooking with their island corn. They grow it right here at SDI. So I was able to teach them how to hoe, bake corn soup. I did several different recipes. They had cornbread. We did all kinds of different things with their island corn. And that's grown right here. I use a coffee grinder to be able to grind up the corn. This is a very, very tough corn. It's very hard. But a coffee grinder did absolute wonders. And you can grind it a few times and it makes it, I guess, easier to work with. Cornbread's great. And then I wanted to show how easy it is to grow your own garden pots. Joe's been a big help to me with the garden pot. We put in sunflowers, turnips, zucchini, summer squash, cucumbers, and only one cucumber. So now we have started harvesting out of our little garden. So we did a butterfly garden. So me and my daughter, we tore the first one apart over there in Vietnam, tore that apart, and then Joe helped us get it filled up so we can plant and get a butterfly garden going. Now, butterflies, it brings in bees. And we need to save both and help both because they're going to help us with the gardens and the plants. Then we also was trying to work on turtle garden, but that was a big daunting task. But we found out that the essential oils, because there is a snake shed. Boy, you moved the old harvest that was full of snakes and snake sheds. So I used the essential oils to try to keep them at bay, so we could try to get to it. They're still there. While we were all together, we went to a community engagement. We learned so many things from education to health. We had so many different speakers. They talked about public safety and where to go for help, whether it's mental, physical, or just needing someone to talk to, whether it's just a friend. There's a lot there. We were able to travel. We went to Madison, a group of us, we went back to Madison. We went to Science Hall, and in Science Hall right here is this big map room, and these maps are some of them date back to the 1600s, which is absolutely phenomenal with these maps. Then we went from Science Hall, and we walked to the Capitol building in Madison. Mind you, I tweaked my knee, blew up my knee almost. We proceeded to walk 6 miles that day. All the way to the Capitol. That's our Dr. Bill at the bottom of the corner. I joined into the Capitol since I was a kid. That's for some of the pictures that were in the Capitol with meeting halls. That was only one of the native pictures that I seen. I was able to put it back in the slide. The Madison, our group that was in Madison at the overlook of Mendota. Yes, good. While we were there, we went to Memorial Terrace, and there was this big, huge building, and it shows you different histories of Wisconsin, even right down the Waewaenen. And of course, the world of the trucks. That's what we watched that day. This is Observatory Hill Overlook. That's over Lake Mendota, which is kind of cool because at the bottom down there, there's new buildings that you can't see. Those were all buried along at one time. They removed those buried mounds for the buildings. This is where we're at. We turned around and ran into Kate's Geoscience group, which is awesome. Then we proceeded, after we all got it together, we went to the Cave in the Mountains. Of course, I think everybody's got on the river because that was a big highlight. We had a group tour, we all got to stand around. We got to work with a couple of different guys, and then we had the cave there. We just kind of don't know why, but she was there. Then we went to the porta repository. The one on the far over there is those were cores that had just lengths and lengths of cores. And these date back thousands of years. And all different kinds of rocks. I mean, all different samples that we got to touch, look at, and there's a completely different aspect to what's their length. Now, the vegetable garden and the butterfly garden, that's what I was talking about before, with the bees. We need to have our bees. And I was just talking about someone today, and that's what they were looking into on the restaurants here for natural movement. That's that brings in the butterflies. Then we had our talking circle with Miss Dolly. She likes to take us as traditional responsible, which is amazing because we get to learn so much from her. And then we got to find our own tobacco. And she told us with our tobaccos, we can go to our good days, talking about our bad days. Because if you need someone to talk to you. Now, cooking is tough, and I love to cook. And a lot of the guys at SDI don't know how much I cook. We would spend all day cooking. And my daughter's learning how, which is amazing because this is all our natural foods. It's all that we need to keep the body healthy and sustainable. And then we did a workshop. This is what we call boiled, right? It's cornbread. It's over 50 years old, this recipe is. Actually, I have made it for over 50 years. So everybody got to make some and take some home. It was good. So young folks all who encourage me to soar. I'd like to thank that for the work on this friend and Emerald and Joe for all their help. I'd like to, with the Stable Development Institute, I'd like to thank Ehlert, I can read with it again. For allowing me to be a student employee and for valuing our guidance and wisdom.
Can I have some questions for Rachel? Yeah, oh, I got a question.
Yes,
Share those recipes.
I will.
Yeah, I think we'd like to keep Rachel on for a lot of reasons, but one of them is her amazing ability to cook and bring us food and taste. Like, seriously, we have talked about a recipe, sort of a book or
Yes.
something. So we're gonna be sitting down with Dr. Frank and see, you know, where we can take that.
And I've already started because we like even made dandelion jelly right there. Yes, and it was amazing. So yeah, we go with everything over there. That was in the spring, early.
Dandelion. All right, thank you, Rachel. Next up is Jeremiah Madosh. DJ did graduate from high school in 2020. He's proud to be a descendant of the Menominee Nation as well as the Oneida and Stockbridge Munsee Nation. He's currently pursuing an associate degree in liberal studies at CMN and intends to transfer for his 4-year degree. One of his goals after college is to become fluent in the Menominee language. He is interning at SDI as a sustainable agriculture research intern. During his free time, Jeremiah enjoys studying languages, playing music, spending time with his parents, younger brothers, and friends, and exploring the woods of the Menominee Reservation. Please welcome DJ.
Okay, hold on. So before we actually get started here, I'm not sure how many times I say corn in this whole thing, but I didn't think about it beforehand. So anytime that I say corn, I'm going to say Waewaenen, which is the Menominee name. Would you guys like to repeat that? Waewaenen. Waewaenen. All right. So we're good. Share screen and we will start. Also, Monterey to line at least one ship region again. The 2 Menominee Totem Kineo. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremiah. Some people also call me TJ. I am a Menominee and my client is all right, so some of the stuff that I did over the summer was, being in the garden a lot, like a lot, and also kind of finding different Menominee names to kind of help people learn how to integrate that into their own gardens or own farms and back into the agricultural research we do at the SDI. So the current plot, or the current experiment for Sustainable Development Institute is kind of looking at how our ancestors had planted their plots, and it was either in these north, south, or east-west orientations. And that was found by some research with Dr. Overstreet. So what we're doing now is we're replicating that. You'll see a plot map up in the top left-hand corner. And it shows which plots we have north, south, east, west. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see what the plots kind of looked like before we actually done some planting. So something that we did was collected data in order to figure out kind of like what the difference was between the plots. There was obviously we would take measurements of the plants themselves to see what grew taller, what grew faster, and also soil temperature and soil pH and moisture levels. And something that we did all the time was weeding, just constantly weeding. And monoscope, that's how you would say it in Menominee. And on the left-hand side is before and after. This, by the way, was on a Monday after we left alone for the weekend because we can't work the weekend. And something else that we did was hand pollination. So in order to keep heirloom corn, heirloom Waewaenen, as its original state, what we need to do is not allow cross pollinate. And it's just a little diagram that kind of shows how hand pollination works. These are some of the tricks that I went down. In the center on the bottom, you'll see a picture of me and Sheeran. Yeah, so- and a bunch of other wonderful snippets of trips that I got to go on. Something else that we did was a open house workshop over at the farmers market, and we did that 4th of July weekend. There wasn't many people there, you know, they were all gone on vacation. But you know, we got to kind of share what we were doing with the plots, and also I got to share what I'm doing, which is the garden language guide. And it is just some simple words that you know you can use at home, and it includes a couple of different things in there. You'll see the cover page and the first page picture here. So that new way to catch Otradovec is 3 sisters, and what it means is they're 3 sisters to each other. And you'll see Waewaenen, corn, Guinamaquan, squash, and Muscatisa, bean, Muscatisa, beans.
Oh my God.
Awesome, thank you. I was hoping to laugh. So, yeah, Pecha, Matayah, Ancerstors, Petrakis, and Saman. You know, those are your essential tools in Minecraft. And these are actual tools used in the garden. Petrakis would be like a hoe. One would be like a weeding hoe kind of. And then Matayah, shovel, Kanakana, would be a rake. It basically means tool for dragging. It's kind of roughly how it translates. These are some critters that you run into. I have them titled here as beings because that's the best way to translate it. Otradovec would mean like bugs, insects. A lot of those got on my hair a little bit. Which can also be kind of smaller birds, songbirds, and Kikiko would be chipmunks. And these are the resources that I use. There's, you know, obviously the current Menominee dictionary, the Maec Waewaenen, the Menominee lexicon from Leonard Bloomfield, which was published in the 50s sometimes, with a few words in there that you can't find in the modern dictionary, and an anthology of Menominee sayings, Timothy Gill, to kind of help teach me how to put certain words together. Uh-oh. No, it's not. Okay, so okay, cool. All right, so here's a little activity to kind of teach you guys how to put words together in Menominee, roughly how it works. You know, there's more rules to it than just this, but these are some example words. And so first we have Kucha, which means he or she scoops it, and then Ekan, the nominalizer, which basically just turns the word into a noun. You have Kucha underlined at the stem of the word, Kucha, and you take off that last part, the and put on the Ekan to make it into a noun. So it will turn into, make it thicket. Kucha to be, anybody got a guess? Ladle. There you go. Cool. Ladle. Look it again. All right. So somebody like to try the next word? Okay. So anybody who didn't see the slide, right? Okay, hold on. So one person raise your hand. One brave. Okay, Joseph. All right, cool. So how would you turn it into a noun? So what you do, take this down here, you take the root, and put back 2 letters off, put this on. It's Pecha. Hey, yes. Nick. The chase with it. Anybody have a guess what it means?
Night park.
Yeah, okay. All right, one quick next.
Right now?
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna stay like a hum. Okay, cool. You were right, it's room. Good job. So, do you know how to make it a Menominee, like a noun? Good job.
Yeah.
All right, and we move it on. All right, so what does that dominate? Check it out. All right, next. All right, so then we have quick again, room, quick again. And there you go, you guys all passed the test, awesome. So actually it's still not timed.
Oh,
The important reason for this is because these words all have like these little parts that put them all together. And I know I'm not following the rules because I'm not timing my slides out right now, but it's really hard to explain this with the tiny slides. So you'll see here, so in one of the things that I had pointed out earlier, the field text, it had all these different words, and you can only find 2 of them in the modern dictionary, and they were all along the lines of sock and off. And it's all just, and even in Bloomfield's text, they were all just translated as foreign tassel, the foreign tassels, you know, something like that. But you're telling me, like, you can't just look at this and say that it didn't have a name in our language, because look, oh, this is like hopping over corns, hopping over what you eat, had that name. So, I think it was partially translated wrong, in all honesty. Like, Bloomfield was a linguist, he wasn't an agriculturalist. So, sometimes, you know, people get things wrong. So, what I found is that sock means kind of out, comes out, sticks out, and then this is what makes them different words. It's the na versus the ana. The na roughly means, when you're talking about plants, it roughly translates to kind of like top of a tree, top of a plant, based on the pattern that I've seen. Ano has a similar stem across a couple different words that are combined and tail. So it means it's, you know, the tail sticks up, which the tail would be the silk, top and option would be the tassel, because that would be the top of the plant. So the top sticks up. And here we have sock and option and sock on action. And you know, it's kind of just some of the stuff that I've done over the summer and some of the words that I had looked at. So, Maec Waewaenen had as well. You know, the SDI Staff, SDI Interns, obviously, our grant here is the SDI, CMN, MITW, Case wonderful trips. Frank Kucha for, you know, teaching us all the stuff that he did. Jennifer Goff here for getting me started on my amazing Menominee language journey a couple, 4 or 5 years, something like that. And whoever the last person was on there, sorry. Oh, DJ?
Were you the, so the kind of like last words that you're showing in these slides, did you figure that out yourself? Was there anything certain about those words before?
So they're not broken down in the dictionary necessarily that way. So it's a matter of kind of like looking at previous research and also looking at, you know, similar languages like Ojibwe. And you know, like their language has been studied more, and kind of applying like phonetics that are similar in theirs to ours and accounting for the rules. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm a professional at it. You know, it's just a big passion of mine. So kind of looking at those things and looking for the similar patterns too. So a lot of the words in the dictionary that sort of saw, had talked about something that was sticking out or something that was coming out, something along that line, right? So then you recognize the pattern that sock is what means sticking out. Ano, you gotta look around a little bit closer. There's not a lot of words that have that in there. And you can find a pattern that if it's in the middle of the word, it means tail. And then, so a little bit of my research and a little bit of help from people who had done the research before me too. Yeah. Anything else?
Any other question? Great.
Cool.
Next up is Kerry. So Kerry is a student who's majoring in Rylee at the College of Nomination. He recently was accepted for an internship for an agriculture worker here at the Sustainable Development Institute. Kerry's goal for this internship are to learn more about gardening and becoming familiar with other elements pertaining to sustainable development. Please welcome Kerry.
My name is Kerry. This is my name.
What'd you think? Yeah, there it was, see the money.
And we'll start. Yeah, mine's gonna be on the bottom tools. Earlier, this is my first year at SDI. Learned a lot. Excellent. So, one of the first things I put on my bag was shovels. Next thing about is a hand shovel. Hand shovel. See. Garden forks. So back to all the compost and turn on the soil and rakes, rakes. Garden weeders. Golden shears. Garden tenders. Garden spades. Garden gloves. Loopers that reach higher heights. Bulbs. Watering, obviously watering cans. Wheelbarrows. Also too. Soil gauges you have for like capturing data. So right here's orange soil temperature unit for the checking soil temperature. Data sheets, documentation. Kitchen meeting, recognizing laboratories. Shop holes. I just want to thank everybody at the SDI, all the staff, all the interns, all of our sponsors, and thank you guys. Seeing my guy, the doctors, thank you.
Kerry's been really modest, I have to say, because Kerry, some of these schools that you saw out there, Kerry made. He's in our welding program, and he's an amazing, not only individual, but is very talented in his welding. He also made us a fire grill for over our fire. So thank you for all your work. Does anybody have any questions on that?
What were some of your favorite schools to work with?
I was one at bottom right here.
What was that?
Actually donated them to the other one, because it's like violence in Navajo. She also works on the other side of there. Yeah, donate those ones to her actually. That's what I kind of got.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
It's like, you gotta.
Yeah, oh, that's like the top of the one on the bottom right. That's the same top of the one on the bottom right.
I think it's the metal is like in the vise, right? So it's like before he did the shaping of it and made the tool.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up is Betsy. Betsy Trudeau is an aspiring teacher who is finishing her Bachelor of Science Elementary Education at the College of Menominee. She has also earned an associate degree in liberal studies, social sciences from CMN in 2018. Betsy is the mother to 3 young children, Violet, Vera, and Oliver. Oliver's 1, and they have a family puppy. She is originally from the Hannibal Potawatomi tribe in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Betsy has lived on the Menominee Reservation for 11 years, where her partner Kino is from. Their family enjoys traveling to powwows and seeing new places. Betsy's favorite thing to do on her own is reading, sewing, and walking. She is excited to get out into the teaching world to inspire the next generation of future leaders. Betsy's expected graduation date is May 2024. Please welcome Betsy.
Bonjour everybody, I'm Petrakis for the introduction. So, bonjour, j'en oblige que vous me passe, Niman Doden, Canada, Waewaenen, So, hello everybody, my English name is Betsy Trudeau. I am of the Sturgeon clan. I was born and raised in Hannibal, Michigan, and I've been living here for the last 11, 12 years. So, this is my family, as Rebecca mentioned. I have 3 children, Violet, Vera, and Oliver. So we love going to powwows, we love traveling. This was our big trip out to Mandarin. But my 2 oldest are dancers, and my son, he just learned to walk last week, so he'll probably join the powwow circle next year, so he can, learn to listen a little bit more. But yeah, just traveling is, I want to say, our life. We love going and meeting new people. which is actually great because that's kind of the essence of what this internship is, creating relationships, traveling, meeting new people, and seeing, you know, what can we do. My timer. I'm like, all right, I can keep talking. Okay, so unlike some of the other summer internships, my internship began in spring of 23, which technically is January. So this was my first initial visit with the Sami people. This is Ravita and Christina. So they came to Kashina back in February, where we showed them, gave them a tour of the res, and we were at historic preservation. And then in turn, they came to the rec center, which you guys are familiar with, and gave us a presentation on their culture. So this was my initial meeting with these two.
Oh, figure that. Just one more second. Find it all. All right. Now we should.
Okay, so this one, a day later, I flew out to Washington, D.C. with President Caldwell, Christina Guzman, and another student from Oneida campus, and I apologize, I'm spacing her name, but so we were at the American Indian Higher Education Consortium Legislative Summit. So there we were the student presenters to our state representatives. And the essence of it was rooting on tribal colleges and sharing our story and what these tribal colleges and these types of experiences, how they affect us and how really they change lives. So this was a remarkable experience and really cool to say that the president invited me himself. So it was really cool. And leading into it, one of my friends, her name is Casey. We're going to see her on the next slide. But this is a story that we didn't realize until we got there.
Yeah. All right, third time's the charm. Click all. Next slide.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so this part, my friend Casey, she sits on the board of directors for the Saginaw Chippewa Community College. So in preparation for this, I saw her name on email. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Are you going to the APEC Summit? And she said, yeah. So we met there, and we were there as kids together through like different, leadership organizations. So one of our aunties had shared, so I guess I'm gonna go back to that. Another part of this internship was, creating relationships. So I was on a planning committee where we hosted the first ever CMN Round Dance. So the flyer that I helped create, along with the picture of the invited singers. So the big thing led into my internship. We went to Norway. So this was our first stop in Denmark. So it was an 8-hour flight. And this picture to me is just like, wow, we made it. I made it. And I was just like, res girl from Hannahville, here I am. And it's just truly remarkable feeling. So it's an education-based experience. So here we are at a Sami immersion, like Head Start, kind of what you guys are familiar with here, what we're doing with babies, but also what they have in Norway with the Sami culture. So there's a lot more pictures that I had, but I wanted to show this view. So one of our next visits was in Snowsa, where we visited a museum, and this whole multicultural center had workshop space. There was like a meeting space and like a cafe. But as we see here, is one of their traditional buildings where they lived in, and they also had like ceremonies. So this right here, I wanted to show you guys a part of their museum that their crafts are so similar to ours here. Like the beadwork, the leather, which, is actually not deer, it's reindeer. But it's just so crazy to have a group of people across the ocean that share such similarities. So, food, big part of our culture, right? We ate so much reindeer, it was crazy. So we had a reindeer stew, and then the bread there was just like nanoput, which you guys are familiar with here, or scone or something. Kind of like a reindeer pizza. This was a workshop space, which our people here, we love crafting, as do the Sami people. This was one of their woodworking stations, but they also have spaces for sewing, spaces for like working on leather, tanning their reindeer hides. And, but this is one big building that contains all of it. So later that day, we went to the, it's called Bach, and there is a hand carving, which you might be able to see right here, which dates back to like like I want to give a number that I want to be crazy and say it was really old. So this is a picture, just to show you guys from the landscape. It's just so, it was such a beautiful place, and just to be so far away, but to be by the land, it just kind of made you feel at home. So this right here, here in Malta at the World Heritage Rock Museum. So these are hand carvings that dates back to 2,000 up to 7,000 years ago. And there's about 6,000 of these that they know of, and there's still more. So they're not red, but there's, they did that so people can see. And then this right here, we went to, also in Alta, reindeer herder, traditional reindeer. And reindeer herding, you can only be a part of that if it's a part of your family, which is, so it's an inherent right. Not anybody can just grow up and be a reindeer herder. So again, food, they had like a family restaurant, which was very gourmet. Reindeer steak, and then reindeer schnitzel. So good. But yeah, so like food is such a big part of our culture. You know, we love to join each other over food, and as we did there. So we continued on to car shock, and could you imagine driving next to that? It was like I took that from the car window. And anyways, we made it to the parliament, Sami parliament, where they have all of their state leaders come to that spot. So it's kind of like essentially like a tribal council chambers. So then we continued on to the museum later that day, and I wanted to show you these pictures on how their culture and what they wear is so similar to what we have here. And it's beautiful. I wish that you guys could, this, in the top, what the woman is wearing is beadwork. So this is my last page, funny picture of me doing the same thing I'm doing right now. But this, I took that picture in the airport, and to me, really, like this, there's no end point to this, you know. It's what can we do, what is a continued learning, and it's okay that we like don't have the deliverable right now, but like working on what are all the big ideas and what is, you know, continuing to create relationships and to figure out what the next big thing is. So.
Questions for Betsy? Just want to recognize Tom. Tom, just want to raise your hand. Tom is from the University of Wisconsin, and he was really instrumental in helping us put together this whole trip. So just want to thank him and the University of Wisconsin. So if you guys haven't noticed, these presentations are supposed to be slides, just keep going. So it's been a challenge for the interns to do these. Up next, you guys are presenting together, right? Okay. So we Cedar and Dulce are going to be presenting together. You both want to come up here. So Cedar Fernandez is a member of the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin and is also of Mexican and European descent. He is currently one of the Great Lakes Integrated Sciences Assessment, recent for short, interns at the College of Menominee Nation Sustainable Development Institute. Throughout high school, they were part of the Minnetonka Community Rebuilders Youth Cohort, where she gained many cultural experiences. After high school, she worked as a librarian assistant at the College of Menominee Nation, where she continues to host Dear, Drop Everything and Read. Working with the library has motivated her to take classes at CMN in 2022. Throughout time, Cedar has gained experiences with travel, intercultural learning and interactions, social justice, activism, Menominee cultural practices, and the visual and musical arts. In her free time, Cedar enjoys spending time with loved ones, hanging out in the woods and by the water, traveling, dancing, playing music, and eating. That's Cedar. Joseph has been a resident of Menominee County for over 3 years and lives in Kucha. He is a first-year student at CMN studying computer-aided drafting, computer-aided machining, and computer numerical code. Joseph also has completed building services at MATC in 2013. Sorry. He will be working as a water researcher intern for the summer, or he has worked as a water research intern for the summer with the Sustainable Development Institute. Joseph enjoys writing and gardening. His hobbies include graphite drawing and acrylic painting, remodeling, and finishing furniture. So welcome both Cedar and Joseph. Sounds good, right?
Might want to go close.
Whenever you guys are ready.
Also, I'm Joseph Holsten,
And I'm Cedar Fernandez, my Menominee name is Petrakis.
and we are the SDI Water Research Interns.
Our internships were created to
Develop connections with and research cultural and scientific knowledge around water. So how did we apply our internships this summer? Well, we researched subjects around water. We got involved in activities with cultural knowledge holders and scientists who work with water. And we organized water-focused events. So you can see plenty of images up there of all those things.
Milkweed picking with Dolly Potts. We gathered the buds of the plant to make milkweed soup, or in Menominee, Nanapu. Mid-June is the prime time to pick. As we harvested, we noticed the buds were much smaller than usual, possibly due to the spring drought. Over the course of this internship, I had the opportunity to work with SDI Garden. I helped Rachel and Dulce plant various indigenous plants. I tilled up the soil for this plot, and Rachel and I planted turnips, zucchini, squash, cucumber, and sunflowers.
This is a Menominee waterways map that I drew. I made it in the spring, and I wanted to make it so I could get better connection with the water as we live nearby. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to add Menominee names to it as well, or learn how to create some too along the way. Something else I did this summer was go on the creation water walk with Jeremiah Moses. This walk was to heal and protect our water from pollution. And we joined on the third day. So we gained a bit of that spiritual and cultural connection on that walk.
SDI interns also visited Point Beach on Lake Michigan with Dr. Kate Flick, who led the geoscience interns. Met a few geoscientists from UW-Madison who taught us about shoreline erosion. Shoreline erosion is caused by forces of water that wash away sediment.
Chelsea Mohano is a geoscience graduate student from UW-Madison. She collects data for coastal erosion from an instrument called David Buoy. The buoy measures wave data and helps her predict shoreline erosion.
So I also got to, this isn't working right now, but I also got to go to Alaska to visit the Otradovec College, which is the only travel college in Alaska. While we were there, we learned there's also coastal erosion happening as well. This shoreline right here, you can stretch 5 miles further out, 50 years ago. We also got to visit the Weeks Chemical Biology Lab in Madison. This is a picture of the machine you got to see there. It presses down ice with as much pressure as glacier would on the stone. And the striated marks to the left behind on the stone help scientists measure the rate with which it's moving and which direction it's going to go.
The next day of that trip, we visited near the mountain. In the cave, we learned that water helps chemicals move around and develop the cave's environment and formation. We also learned that Wisconsin was an ocean 450 million years ago. On another trip, we went canoeing through the Wolf River and Shaw Lake with Crystal Keen from University of Minnesota. We learned that due to water pollutants, invasive species, changes in water level, and climate change, Menominee is struggling to grow its wildlife.
Following day, we went back to the Wolf River and Shaw Lake. We went to collect the data with to help Crystal learn if Menominee can once again grow at these locations. We tested contaminants we tested water for contaminants, we used piezometer, and we gathered sediment core samples from the Wolf River. One of the biggest things I wanted to do this internship was gain more agricultural and spiritual understanding with my fellow interns. So that's what we did. We had an event called Talk Water in the Water, where Don Wilfer and Orlando Caldwell were sharing their knowledge with us. We had like water ceremonies, some stories, and community on the lake. I wanted to do this event because learning both spiritual and scientific knowledge helps us learn how to respect water. I learned from Dolly Potts, one of our mentors out there, that water is life. When you respect water, you respect our life because water isn't everything.
With this internship, I wanted to focus on testing drinking water for the Menominee Reservation. I wanted to bring awareness to the community on how to test for possible contaminants. So I contacted Conservation and was given a free testing kit from the State Laboratory in Madison.
When our supervisor approved, we ordered 30 more kits to hand out to the community at the CMN Farmers Market. SDI paid these kits to the community, and in preparation for that event, we researched information to know when testing drinking water. So we created this booklet.
The differences between private wells and city water is what went in the booklet. Why it's important to test your drinking water, and the most common contaminants in Wisconsin well water, which are bacteria and nitrates. Private well water testing workshop. Oh. Private well water testing workshop. I went to CMN Farmers Market. We brought our booklets, instructions, and test kits. Results of the day, we shared 15 water testing kits with community members to test for bacteria in their private well.
Yeah, here's an example of one right here. As water researchers, we participated in a number of activities and events this summer. These all taught us both Menominee cultural knowledge and Western scientific knowledge around water.
Waewaenen to the Sustainable Development Institute and Dulce for supporting our work.
Waewaenen mentors, friends from Madison to Minnesota to SDI staff and interns. And then,
Any questions?
How many did you get back?
16.
We got
Oh, how many did we get back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got 8 back. Oh, that were to be tested, right? We handed out 16. But
Yeah, we handed out 16, 15 to 16, we got 8 back, which is, I think, a pretty good number, especially that working. But
How and will research continue?
hopefully, we have actually about 15 testing kits left. So hopefully the next interns who do water researching can try out to pulling together an event themselves and gaining organizational skills and interacting with the community.
That, the map that you made with the water of the Menominee, is that historic or is it not? Like, for example, Legend Lake, did you have Legend Lake or did you have what preceded?
I added everything that's present at this time. So I added as much as I could find online through online resources. And because, places like Legend Lake have such a history of how they came to be in such recent times, I think it'd be nice to have individual names in the nominee for each section.
When do we expect our results back?
We're sitting in my email.
We don't know.
We'll try to reach out to the community members though who gotten those results back to them. We have their email addresses and their addresses as well, send them others if they need to.
I just thought the map was really cool and was wondering if it was going to be distributed later for people to have.
That's definitely a huge goal I had in mind because that was the reason I wanted to make it, because I wanted to see a map like that. I was like, what are all the waterways on the Menominee reservation? Like, I don't even know. I'm talking about it with Claude actually kind of inspired the creation of that map. Ellen?
Yeah, that was totally leader with that map. One of the questions she asked is what waterway do you live on? What water do you live on? It's to remind you of the importance of water. So that was all Cedar. Notebook paper, but yeah, that was she inspired that.
And who knows, maybe ahead we have another water talking circle and we're asking the question like, what body of water do you refer to this map? So we can point it out. Yeah,
Tell your name.
Tell them my name. Oh, my Menominee name is Saskatchewan. That means sparkling flowing water. So it kind of worked out.
Awesome, thank you, Steve.
So yeah, our water research is going to continue, as well as a lot of these projects. So yeah, let's keep going. Next up is Mary Fisher. So Mary interned this summer at CMN as a solar researcher. Mary is working towards her associate degree in early childhood education. She also works part-time at the Christina Primary School as a Spark Tutor, a program that guides our younger children with early literacy skills. Mary finds it essential to share what she learns on their educational journeys with others. She said she is excited about this opportunity and can't wait to share it with others. Please welcome Mary.
Okay, hello and welcome. My name is Mary Fisher and I was selected by the Sustainable Development Institute to do summer research. I'm excited to share what I have learned and hopefully to get you to think more about sustainability and how we can meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of our future generations to meet their own needs. Solar energy is received by the earth from the sun. When the sun is out and shining, its energy is in the form of solar radiation that produces and makes solar electricity possible. Even though the sun is about 93 million miles away, it only takes about 8 minutes for the light to travel to Earth. This is a pic of our new solar panels that were installed beside the SDI building. When the sun hits these panels, solar energy is captured and converted into electricity that will help power our building and also help us save on energy costs. This is a breakdown picture. So number 1 are the solar panels. 2 is an inverter that connects direct current electricity, which is what a solar panel generates, to alternating current electricity, which the electrical grid uses. The switchboard connects everything electrical in your house and also protects it. The electricity meter measures how much electrical energy is used, and the main grid measures how much solar energy we use in our home. Extra solar energy that is produced and not used is then returned to the electrical company and they buy it from us, which then reduces our bills and saves us some money. Solar energy is a clean, renewable source of energy. There is no air pollution when using a solar energy system. This can help create a clean and safe environment for us and for our future generations. This is my solar oven. Solar energy can also be used to cook up some good food. I whipped this together one afternoon at work, and as you can see, I used anything I could find at work to make it work. I sat outside with it for 2 hours watching them do nothing. Little did I know that they would take 5 to 6 hours to bake. After the sun went down, my kids and I tried the cookies, and they loved them. I thought they were a little bit soft in the middle, but good enough for a first timer. These are some facts. Did you know the entire Earth can be powered for a year from just 1 hour of sunlight? That solar energy is the cheapest source of energy in the world. How about the International Space Station runs completely on solar power? And also in 2016, a Swiss pilot flew around the world entirely on solar energy. This is Dulce Air Force Base in Nevada, and it saved $83,000 a month because it survived from using it switched from using traditional energy sources to solar energy produced on site. Okay, so let's bring it back to what solar energy can do for us. This is our CMN students and community members installing the solar panels on the site by the SDI building. Solar energy will help us build towards tribal energy sovereignty, which will also educate our future leaders and create solar jobs across Indian country. There are 2 other buildings here on campus that have solar panels. We have the library with panels that were installed within the last year, and our trades building, which has had solar panels since 2014. Here's some information on our trades building. This shows us our savings from the years 2021 to 2023, which together is about $1,300. They say that solar energy install will pay itself off in about 6 to 7 years. If you notice the winter months, the solar panels didn't produce any energy. Could this be because we don't get enough sunlight? Or someone suggested that maybe they have been covered in snow and maybe not cleared up. This slide is the trade building and its lifetime production. It is really neat to look at all the different numbers over the past 14 years. Something very important is that the CO2 reduction was 21 tons. As a result of using the trade building solar panels, we have eliminated 21 tons of CO2 that would have been produced while using fossil fuels instead. Besides researching, we were blessed with having Miss Dolly working and guiding us through our craziness. She brought traditional knowledge, her big heart, and a sense of calmness when she was around. It was like having a grandmother out there. Thank you, Miss Dolly, for everything. This is my intern family, and as an intern, I have the privilege to tag along with other internship programs. Here we went to Madison on a geoscience field trip. Sorry. I also went to Otradovec and canoed to the Wolf River, just to name a few. Thank you to Grid Alternatives, the SDI, CMN, and my whole intern family for the memories that were made.
Thanks, Mary. Any questions for Mary? So on your table too are some, she printed out some of the numbers that she had up here in her, her presentation. Next up is Susan Chanopeza. Susan is a returning intern at SDI, having previously been a member of the Indigenous Agriculture Research Team. This year, she moved to the Edler class team as a student lead. And this is really a student-led project. This was originally written by Jasmine Diaz, for those of you who know Jasmine. And this was the third year of the 3-year project. Susan is currently working to earn her biology degree at Dominican University in Chicago. So please welcome Susan.
Ready?
You got this.
Where?
Hi, my name is Susan, and I'm currently enrolled in Dominican University taking biology. And the past year is my third year at SDI and past up in Eglinton, but this year I'm at a little class currently. Okay, the cost of living has increased because of the law. And in 2014, the survey conducted by SDI revealed that 67% of the respondents had to be shopping outside of their function. That 47% had at least 10% or over of their household groceries supplied by government. Here are some pictures of our Menominee forests, which provide substantial food resource for this community, yet is planned to remain underutilized. For this purpose, the global food system becomes unavailable, is unaffordable. It's time to turn for research in our own backyard. Over the course of 3 years, edible plants being estimated by 56 plant species. This is me, some of my friends on the technology shelf here located at CMN. And some of these plants that we identified are actually here on this trail. So some other things I've done with this visit there, I went to Madison with some other interns. And this is our first day. We got to see the Capitol. It was cool. Yeah, it's fun. And then the next day, we got to visit Madison's map library, and these are 5 maps that I really liked. They had, I think they specialize in like hand maps, and these are like entertainment maps of different districts in Asia. Some of them are from Taiwan. Here's me, I got to make my own map with Dr. Bill. Here on the right, I got to make that with Rachel. And then on the left, there's me in the map library. There's me and Dr. Bill. And then we actually got to do some exploring of Madison University, which is pretty cool. We got to see some of the nightlife and night lights. But yeah, we walked all over campus, I think it was 6 miles. We got to see different facilities. And then here, the next day, Dr. Bill was taking us tour of mounts all over Madison. And on the top left, we actually crashed. There's our tour. Oh yeah, and then this pilot's tour, I got to go see. We got to go right down on the field at Madison. I was pretty cool. What? They're growing at night. So then last day at Madison, we got to go to the Cape of the Mountains. Here's me in the middle. Here goes my bestie Cedar. Here goes my other bestie Dulce. But it was really cool because I got to do something outside of my field, which is geoscience. And then we actually got to learn that they found this cave because they're going to build a highway through it. And then a hole here. And they found it. Here's some work pictures. Those are great. And then here's another trip I got to do, which was canoeing on the river. We were there with the first one about wild rice. It was pretty cool. Even though we were doing it downstream, it was so pretty hard. That worked out today. And then here's some pictures. You know, my besties, Bill and Mary. Bill but it was really cool. We just got some day in nature. But also we got to learn other stuff. And then here's the end of our trip. I don't know how many miles we did, but yeah. And then we had a dock here, which was like total And then here's me learning how to cross-pollinate with the Indian parents. I was very proud of parents. Yeah, it was Dr. Fane taught us how to public self-pollinate our own life. And then I would say SDI and NAPA. Special for sponsoring my internship. Thanks for that. Okay, any questions? Fine. All
right, next up here is Otradovec. Otradovec is a current internet CMN. Emerald's pronouns are they, them, identified as non-binary. They study liberal studies, emphasis in humanities. They were originally studying digital media. Emerald will be graduating in the spring of 24 and afterwards will hopefully be transferring to UW Oshkosh, going into UWO's writing program. Emerald. Can you? Where's the
Mind your business. No.
Emerald likes to think of themselves as an eclectic person with broad taste in writing and music. However, they're not musically inclined, they love to listen to it. They're a self-published author with aspirations of publishing professionally with many works in progress. They also enjoy photography and graphic design as a hobby, and hopefully one day professionally as well. Please welcome Emerald.
Yeah. Hopefully people can hear me. Okay. So before I get started, I want to thank SDI and everybody in it, along with the interns and my grants under USDA. So my internship started in the spring with the Menominee theoretical models of sustainability, where I was tasked to make a brochure. I just, slap things together. That's just how I do it. God. Okay. So this is a poster that I made of the model, and we're not sure where it's going to be posted yet, but that's something. The brochures will be used for the classroom for incoming students. I was tasked to make a phenology sign because that was another part of my internship was phenology during the summer. And it was a dedication to Rob Walkenworth, who wrote the book Rating Sweetgrass. So this is where this is the beginning of the phenology trail. And as I said, that was part of my internship. And that is just the learning path where it starts. I was asked to make a phenology poster because SDI did not have one before, and you can find this in the library. I'm not sure when it will be put up, but it's there. They have it for library staff. Along with brochures, which another type of brochure, which is for the phenology trail as well. And the QR codes go to Nature's Notebook, and then the SDI's phenology section on the website. Yeah. So not all of my internship had, like, I created a lot. But I also helped my mom with the turtle garden, and we found snakes. That was cool. That was not cool. And Dulce Potts had a lot of workshops, and one of the workshops was for sacred herbs. And I drew inspiration from it and wanted to make a drawing that SDI could use, and they also have that printed. This is just another poster, which is back there, which Again, a lot of it, there was all of my, a lot of the works from the spring semester that is on here instead of the summer semester. I created a lot. And then I went to Madison, which we had a student giving us a tour of the campus, and on the left is like inside one of the buildings, and it was just a lot of like very racial drawings or art in it. And then on the right, there is the glacier thing. Yep. Then we went to the geology museum inside, where there's like an extinct rhinoceros skull, bioluminescent minerals, and dinosaur bones. So on the left, we have Dream River, which again, I think a lot of people have that in there. And then we went to a core repository where you could spray the different core samples that they have to see all of the layers. And there's some that I did not spray. And then that on the very right is their tour that they had the play ones. And then Dolly again had a talking circle or a workshop for tobacco, and here's me planting my tobacco plant. I named Toby. So everybody needs names. And then my mom, as she said, she cooks a lot, and one of the recipes was actually my grandmother's, her mom. And I recreated the original recipe sheet that my mom had and used the same picture and just kind of made it so that everybody could have it, and printed it off some. And this is a little bio of my grandmother, along with the picture of the boiled cornbread. That was actually what my mom made. And then during one of the interns' talking circles at Rebecca's house, there was a torch plant, and I learned a lot of phenology with plants because of the phenology trail, and I was just amazed. It's also called mullein, if you know that. And I'm just amazed how tall it is. I'm like 6 foot. That's taller than me. And we were talking about the Three Sisters. My mom was talking about the Three Sisters soup to me, and I wanted to create a drawing for it, and that's our like announcement that we had. But I do that just because I could, essentially. And I was asked for to finish a drawing of tribal ecological knowledge or traditional ecological knowledge, and scientific ecological knowledge or Western science ecological knowledge, and how it intertwines together. That's the finished part that I did, but I'm not sure if anybody else will add to it. And this is the butterfly garden, and what it looked like I think 3 weeks ago. There's a lot more to it now, but that's for the bees and the butterflies, and obviously pollination. Thank you.
Nice job, Emma. She's also being very humble too, because I did ask her to do a lot of things. And she really, got to it, and as you can see, she created a lot of posters and flyers, and then I just kept going, so thank you so much. Next up is Sonora Webster. Tanoa is certified and enrolled member of the United Nations, where she resides with her family. She has 2 teenage daughters with her husband of close to 20 years and also a feisty miniature pinscher dog. Tanoa is a graduate from the College of Non-Nation in May of 2023 with her associate degree in early childhood education and is now pursuing her bachelor's degree in elementary and middle school education within the teacher education department. She is passionate about working with youth and youth development and wants to continue to work on and improve educational services within our communities to better serve the needs of children. Tanoa is dedicated to Oneida and all Indigenous culture and language revitalization efforts and believes it is the key to improving school outcomes and the lives of young people while installing a strong sense of pride and internalized self-love. When Tanoa is not in school or working, she enjoys traveling with her family, especially taking road trips and exploring nature and our natural environmental elements. Please welcome Tanoa.
Ready? Whatever.
My name is Tanoa Webster. I'm Turtle Plan from the United Nations. And I have been an intern with SDI since the spring semester. Along with Betsy, Trudeau, we're both international cultural professional development student interns. And today I'll be presenting and talking about how our internship is a practical application of the Menominee theoretical model of sustainability. So within our program, developing relationships with regional, national, and international Indigenous communities was a major part. So we were able to travel to Sapmi country, Norway, for the Sami community, with Cedar, Alaska, for the Inupiaq community, and we had many SDI cultural teachings and experiences. And within our water teachings, we always kind of think that the water is something that separates us as Indigenous people across the whole world. But in those teachings, water is something that connects us. And it shows us just how close of a region, especially in the Arctic Circle, how similar those communities can be, although the ocean separates it, but it is a connector to our Indigenous people. The Menominee theoretical model of sustainability is built on relationships and connections among land and sovereignty, natural environments, institutions, technology, economics, human perception, activity, and behavior. And through the lens of the model, it was used as a practical application of integrating Indigenous knowledge with academic understanding and investigation of human environmental relationships. So this is our first trip to Sapmi country, Norway. This is our cohort. We have 10 people, 7 from the College of Non-Nation and 3 from University of Madison. Tom is here. He was instrumental in guiding us through another country and providing us a complete tour of the Sapmi community, and he had a lot of connections. So we want to continue building on that. This is a picture of when we were traveling on the airplane to northern Norway, Sapmi country, and it was just beautiful. I thought it was breathtaking. It was a different Arctic land, but I felt connected to it and the water. If you see here, this is the Sami flag. So the red part of the circle represents the sun, the blue part the moon, the green nature, and fire and sun. When we talk about the natural environment, this is one of our favorite days. It was our last day in Sapmi country, and we just kind of hung out on the land, laid there, put our hands in the earth, and enjoyed the beautiful surroundings. And what you see in the picture is lichen, and that's what the reindeer eat, and it's very healthy for them, and it creates a healthy animal to eat as well. For institutions, we visited a lot of schools, from daycare all the way up to college, and we saw a lot of immersion programs that really incorporate strong cultural and language values, and it's just designed around Sami culture. And so that's instilling a strong future for future generations. And down here are two pictures of the Sami Parliament. And then for technology, Sami people are very amazing at silversmith, handicrafts, very cultural projects and crafts. And many of the community schools and the museum had designated areas for crafting, for continuing that traditional process of mixing the old with the new. For economics, not only are Sami people amazing crafters, their worldview and way of life is centered a lot around reindeer and reindeer herding, reindeer breeding, hunting, fishing. But I just thought that was really amazing that they're so connected with the animals. Human perception, activity, and behavior. This is another reindeer herder that we saw, and it's just amazing how connected the Sami community is with the land, the animals, water, all the elements of nature, and that really guides them in their decision making and their worldview and way of life. Autochthony from Sami people, that is where they're from. They went through the same challenges that a lot of us, our communities have gone through, like boarding schools. They call it Norwegianization, where they weren't allowed to speak their language or practice their culture. And this is a traditional labu that Sami people would live in, and it's very connected to the earth, and it looks a lot very similar to these. Our second trip was to Otradovec, Alaska. We had a cohort of 9 from CMN get to go there, and we stayed at the Otradovec College, which is the only tribal college in Alaska. We were treated with such great hospitality, such love, and it was an amazing experience to get to know another tribal college community. This is a map of the Indigenous people and languages of Alaska. As you can see, it is very diverse. Where we were was in the light blue area, the Inupiaq community, but they are very strong in their land and sovereignty rights and are continually facing their hunting rights being challenged because they do hunt whales. For our natural environment, I thought this picture was amazing because when we were there, it's 24 hours of sunlight. And then in the winter, there's 3 months of pure darkness. But as you can see in the ocean, there's still a lot of glacial ice, including like the erosion of the beach. And when we went to Madison, we also saw a replica of the glacial ice in that picture. For institution, this is the college, the Otradovec College in Utqiagvik. Their motto is unapologetically Inupiaq, and that means they are exercising their sovereign inherent freedom to educate their community through Inupiaq worldviews, values, knowledge, and protocols. And we were also able to see the local government and visit the mayor and speak with her. For technology, this was one of a traditional tool called the ulu, and it's used to do precise cutting of, this is called makta, which is whale blubber with the skin attached. But almost everybody has a ulu, and they use it to, for their cutting purposes. And many of the community centers also have craft rooms. For economics, this is a picture of a successful whale hunt. This is a whaling crew, and they don't keep the whole whale to themselves. The whaling crew gets half, and then the other half of the whale is given out to the community 2 times out of the year in a celebration called the Menominee. But we were able to participate in one, and it was amazing. This picture is from the Menominee, it's called the blanket house, but the Inupiaq people, their human perception, activity, and behavior is based around Inupiaq values, which are traditional ways of living, which include respect for others, cooperation, knowledge of language, sharing, respect for others, love of children, responsibility to tribe, humor, and many more. For their autochthony, the Inupiaq people are proud of the land that they came from in northern Alaska, and they're proud to carry on their traditions and pass those on to their children. This was the Eskimo dance after the Nalakataq celebration, and
It was for elders, anybody in the community, young and old. And for our next steps, we're going to be working on the teaching lodge, which is going to be heavily community-based. We also have the West Conference coming up, where we have some people from both communities, the Sami and the Alaska communities, the Nupiaq, the author presentations, continued talking circles. We want to designate a specific space at CMN for crafting, traditional crafting, winter storytelling, and also curriculum. Maec Waewaenen to USDA NIFA, Sustainable Development Institute, College of Navigation, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Elizabeth College, Sami the Sami community, the Nupiaq community, Oneida Nation, and most importantly, the Menominee Nation. I shouldn't say because I'll start crying, but for the Menominee Nation for having the foresight of the importance of sustainability and education. Otherwise, we probably all wouldn't be here today.
Any questions?
How many reindeers one per
It's hard to do like.
Never good to ask. But between a small herd will have maybe 100, and some can have as many as 5,000.
Dang.
How would you make your taste?
The reindeer tastes amazing. It was very close to venison, but because they eat more lichen, I would say the meat was a little bit not as gamey. Like it was very good. We had it every day, at least once a day. It was really good. It really helped me. Really good protein meat.
I wanted to say thank you for bringing back Matayah and the whale. It's all us to have that. That was awesome. The Matayah was amazing.
Yeah, so I can just expand on that. So when we went to the Whaling Festival, part of what we were asked to do was we all had plastic bags and we were asked to gather that food as well because it's rude not to. And so we left a lot of the meat in the college's freezer for them, but we were allowed to bring some back and we shared it.
That was awesome.
SDI. Jennifer, you got a question?
Yeah, how have your travel experience changed your outlook?
I think having a global perspective in curriculum development and finding best practices that are working in other communities, because in the Sami community and in the Nupiaq community, their language is strong. And their immersion programs are amazing. Their schools, they dedicate so much to their schools, and you can tell that children are highly esteemed. Just the design of the school itself and how beautiful that was and how it encouraged children to feel proud to be Sami was amazing. So that's what I want to create for other Indigenous communities.
Apologies.
A lot.
I just gonna ask maybe what were some of the similarities that you noticed between their tribe and Moellers?
And the Menominee.
Yeah, Menominee, sorry.
Always like the family. Family is the heart of the community. Food. Just cultural celebrations, keeping those traditions alive. I'd say the strong family value and the love that they offer people.
Thanks, Nora. We have two more presentations and they're both under the Midwest tabs. So these are kind of unique internships in that they're actually were funded out of the University of Minnesota. And a lot of the research is being developed through the Midwest Climate Adaptation Center. So first up is Dustin. So Dustin O'Brien is a student intern at the College of Menominee Nation Sustainable Development Institute who works in the Midwest Climate Adaptation Science Center. He was excited to learn, he has learned now, about the Menominee people's view to the environment, climate change, and sustainability. Dustin is currently studying Indigenous sustainability studies in Spanish at Bemidji State University in Minnesota, but is located right outside the Twin Cities in a suburb called Maple Grove. His career goals include creating sustainable social, political, and technological systems, and believes it is imperative to create reciprocal relationships with Indigenous people. Through centering their voices and concern in decision-making, respecting and implementing their knowledge on the environment and decolonizing and anti-racism efforts. Dustin hopes to be an empathetic enactor of social and environmental change. Dustin says that he is honored to be given the opportunity to learn about the Menominee Nation's culture and their efforts in sustainability. And he knows that he will carry what he learns from this summer with him for the rest of his life. And I believe you're the only intern that he's not Native American. What?
I'm not even.
Oh, I got, okay, I'm sorry. So I just want to share this. So when we were talking with the cast, about the internship, everyone agreed that it's really, really important to bring individuals that are not Indigenous into this work, because we all can't work alone. So I really appreciate you applying and coming and spending the time with us. So welcome, come up.
So everyone, my name is Dustin O'Brien. I'm one of the Midwest Climate Adaptation Science Center interns. And up here, I did a look at the cleaning of the medicine wheel and the sacred smudging herbs that Dolly taught us about. And yeah, excited to change time. I started out this summer doing an environmental justice camp for youth age 12 to 15. This was for students that identify as BIPOC or recent immigrants, so it was a very diverse group. We did a bunch of different activities like canoeing, archery, nature exposure, and survival skills. I led a discussion on the Perk Incinerator, which is located in Minneapolis. And we visited the Cedar Creek Ecosystem Reserve, and they do a lot of prescribed burns and stuff like that. So we wanted to talk about how the history of that is like very much rooted in Indigenous peoples and how they've been doing that for millennia. We did a talk on like the history of bison buffalo. We did a bog walk, and we identified insect larvae, which you can see on the top right. And I've had the pleasure of being a part of a lot of Indigenous customs and culture while I've been here this summer. Definitely the highlight has been doing like a sweat lodge. Like that was just amazing, like completely different than anything I've ever done before. So I absolutely loved it. Thank you, DJ. And learning about like the Manitous. So you can see like the poster I got of the Thunderbirds. And while I've been in Minnesota, because I haven't spent my whole time on the reservation this summer, I've been reading a lot, and these are just some of the books or literature, whatever you want to call it, of different things. So yeah, right now I'm finishing up Everything You Want to Know About Indians, Feel Free to Ask by Anton Troyer, and he's actually a professor at Bemidji State University where I go. So, and then yeah, we visited Aswan. A lot of people have talked about that so far, but it was really cool getting to hear people's perspectives on like why they think the tribe disappeared, and they also talked about kind of like the disappearance of the buffalo clan within the Menominee and how that might coincide with the disappearance of the Cahokia tribe. We went to Bad River Reservation as well, and we did a climate adaptation menu workshop kind of thing using the Tribal Forest Protection Act, and that was really cool. Basically, the goal was to protect treaty rights, practice Anishinaabe culture on city territory. There's a lot of treaty rights that go into that. And my project specifically was creating culture camps called Anishinaabe Gadeshoin in Anishinaabe language. And basically that's a place where a tribe can request like a campsite, basically go there and do a bunch of their cultural practice like harvesting, sweat lodges, drumming, whatever they would want to, they would have access to those plants. And after that, me and Jay got to experience kind of like a state park kind of thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but it was a really beautiful waterfall. We went on a hike, there was a beautiful view. We went swimming in that area. So that was really cool. And wild leeks, bottom left. So, and we also went to Trout Lake Research Station, which is part of the UW-Madison. And we participated in a bunch of different research groups while there. The goal of mine was to think critically about colonial ideas in Western science spaces, because there was a lot of kind of maybe a little bit messed up research going on there. One of the research groups was the Menominee group, and the goals of that was to understand historical and cultural ties Menominee has to Indigenous people, understand why certain lakes produce more Menominee, and implement restoration efforts. So we went out there and did some phenological testing, sediment testing. We were looking for seeds to see if they germinated. And we also did crayfish sampling. So we went out to a lake that was disturbed by like a Western science kind of thing. Basically, they got rid of a bunch of like the invasive crayfish. And now they're just kind of like tallying the numbers and comparing it. The rusty crayfish is the invasive, and then there's a native crayfish, so we just compared the numbers there. We also went electroshock fishing, which I don't support. And the goals of that was to understand what fish species are prevalent in certain lakes. So basically how that's done is you put like these electrical rods into the water and it shocks the fish and they all float to the water. You pick them up with these nets and then you measure them, tally the number of species, and yeah. We also did some Cisco sampling, and Cisco is like a really healthy food source for large game fish. This also kills the fish, so it's like, basically you drop large nets into the water and they get caught in there, and then you bring them back to a station, a lab or whatever. You can do whatever you want with those fish. We also went on a bog walk, which is really cool. The bottom three are carnivorous plants that are located in the bog ecosystem, which is really cool to see. I went barefoot, it was very spongy. You can see a wild orchid on the top left. It was like very tiny. It's just cool to see. And then Lac de Flambeau, the reservation is very close to Trout Lake Research Station. So they came by and they did like a birch bark harvest demonstration, and they talked to us about their cultural practices with like weaving and stuff. That mat over there, actually basically kind of making those kinds of things went extinct for a while, but they brought it back, so that's really exciting. I visited the University of Minnesota. I met with Mike Waewaenen, his ecosystem restoration through prescribed burns. He said El Diablo was Alvarez. She does a lot of environmental justice initiatives in Minneapolis. Diablo Lobo did ecosystem restoration in Brazil, working with environmental NGOs for indigenous communities. So it was really cool. I got to meet a bunch of different people out in this team environment as well. I also went to Kucha, which is the Shakopee Waewaenen Dakota Cultural Center. That's located about 30 minutes outside of the Twin Cities. And they have a public exhibit that shares kind of like their history, post-contact, pre-contact, cultural practices, artwork, revitalization efforts, and a really cool gift shop and also really cool architecture as well. And I'm planning on going to Indianapolis for the Midwest Task annual gathering coming up pretty soon, and I'm going to be able to present my poster and all this stuff. I'm going to submit like a blog post, and yeah, I'm starting my Indigenous Sustainability Studies program at Indigenous State University. So, Waewaenen, everyone, specifically Dolly, Dulce, Rebecca Ehlert, my mentor, DJ, my partner, everyone at SDI, Mike Waewaenen, and the Trout Lake Research Station. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'm for you.
All right.
When you were shocking the fish, what's the mortality rate?
It's like zero, like close to 0% basically. They don't really die, but like 1 in 100 maybe.
I believe that's it. So it's
Yeah.
really not invasive.
It's, I mean, when you think about it, it's like you're going into their ecosystem and basically like hurting them. Like it's just a little weird, I guess.
Yeah.
You can come up with your own conclusion, but
I'm not. I was just wondering, 'cause
I mean, you're taking them out of their environment to measure them and whatever.
All right, any other questions?
Yes.
Paul, you have a question?
It's the first time meeting you. I was just wondering, what were some of the big influences in your life to become interested in studying?
I would definitely say I took like an environmental justice class when I was at community college, and that was really the start of it. I have like Irish ancestry too, and they've gone through a bunch of horrible crap with the British, so I feel like there's a lot of similarities. So I guess I've been just lifelong very empathetic towards kind of like Native communities and stuff. So yeah.
You're right, you. So DJ is also a Midwest Gas intern, so they did some of these things together and some of the things different, so I'm sure he'll explain it. But he's attending college of nomination and pursuing his associate degree in natural resources. DJ has two amazing kids that keep him busy and push him to do better. Daniel is also an enrolled member of the Menominee tribe. When he's not busy with his kids, DJ is helping out with the youth and tribe history. Please welcome DJ.
Also, Menominee. My name is DJ Moisek. I was an intern for the Midwest Climate Adaptation Science Center, and I was a part of the research experience undergraduate program. That's just a picture of me at the Dells. The first experience that I had as an intern was going to the forest plots with Rebecca Montgomery. We visited two different sites, one at SDI and one up toward Upper Bass Lake. It was pretty fun to get out in the woods like that. The only thing that was a lot of bugs and it was pretty wet up that day. The next thing I had was Dolly Potts had a talking circle with us on the smudge teachings, and she gave us the importance of all four of the herbs that are used during smudging. And I know all of us interns are always thankful for Dolly and the knowledge that she's passing along to us. Then with Guy Ryder from Manitowoc, me and Dustin were able to meet the Governor Avers while he attended our elder box distribution. And we were able to kind of just talk to him with a little bit on the food sovereignty, and he just kind of asked us a little bit of what we were going to school for and all that. Then we visited the site of Ascalon, where a Mississippian tribe established a town there. It was cool to see like a different way of another tribe and what they did. And it was also cool to hear Jeff Reno tell us about conflict that happened between the Menominees and their tribe. Then we went with the Geoscience crew with Cape Flip to Point Beach, where we got to see coastal erosion, and we also got to see a buried forest. So some of those wood tree is over 10,000 years old, and I actually took a chunk of it. I climbed up on the edge and I took some with me. Then it's still in my truck. Then we had some more Dolly Potts knowledge passed along with us as we were harvesting milkweed. She taught us the importance of harvesting it, not taking all of it, not to take the first and not to take the last. And she also shared with us the soup recipe. Then we got to go on a UW-Madison visit where we got to see their different research labs. One of the cool ones was the one of a kind glacier testing machine, and them incorporating and trying to replicate glaciers moving over the land. We also got to go, we got to go to the Cayman Mountains along with a geological rock survey library. So we got to see like how they just stumbled upon this cave and had no entryway before, so there was no animal or human contact beforehand. Then I was at the Bad River Reservation where I attended the Tribal Forest Protection Act workshop. We learned how to set up project ideas, and they gave us a menu on how to create projects that dealt with the projects that are going on Anishinaabe land treaties, and how to come up with these projects and eventually get them funded through the TFPA. Then a good amount of my time for my internship I spent at Menominee. There I worked with the buffalo. I did youth work, and I also did a lot of traditional practices where I would do sweat lodges, and me and Donovan even cooked in the ground. We cooked buffalo in an ancient stove pit. For the buffalo project, we also involved the youth while we were building the fences. I did a lot of monitoring them on the biodiversity that they brought to the land, their interaction with each other. And we thought it was important for the youth to be a part of that. So in the future, as they're driving past it and we grow the buffalo herd, they can tell the next kids and their own kids that they were a part of the Menominee Buffalo Initiative. And here I supervise the youth as well on taking care of the land up there and teaching them that take care of the land will take care of you. And we also did some work in the garden up there. Then me and the guys from some Menominee, we went and had some talks with the youth at the Faith Center about having purpose in work and in life. And we did some Red Cross activities with them to interact with each other. I also paired up with some UW-Madison people up at Menominee and had some Bear Island Flint Corn project where I'm monitoring the corn, and we're doing some experiments with growing the corn with crop seed or cover crops. Then I was at Chub Lake, which is the UW-Madison Immunology Center, where me and my partner Dustin stayed in a cabin along with next to other students that stay up there all summer long to kind of live up there as they do their research. The first day, which was probably one of my favorite experiences, was the Menominee wild rice testing that we did, where we did sediment testing, and we also did some phenology testing where we would put that, you could kind of see it behind me, there's just a square PVC thing you put in the water, and whatever within that square of wild rice, you just document, and you have to actually count every plant in there, all the seeds and what stage they're in. Then that night we went electrofishing, where you can see the two people ready with the nets in the front as the probe shot the water at a certain voltage to target certain fish. So now every fish will be shot. In that picture you see, I caught like a pretty big bass. It was like 18 inches, it was pretty heavy. Then we did some gill netting where they just had stationary nets in the water where fish would come and swim into it, get stuck, and they collect the fish, and they're mainly looking for the Cisco, which they call the Snickers of the food for like predator fish. And then we had Greg Johnson Piscane come with some traditional knowledge, as long as he brought some other elders where he told us about them revitalizing their cedar mats, and we did some harvesting of some birch bark. And me and Greg actually got stung by ground bees when we laid our tobacco down, so we left that tree alone. That was a good sign to us. I would love to say Maec Waewaenen to everyone that was along with on all the trips, and SDI for putting together my internship along with the University of Minnesota, the University of Wisconsin, Midwest, and Menominee. Thank you all.
questions?
I tell them whenever they do that kind of gathering.
Yeah, then I get attacked. I do it, and then I get attacked by bees, but like 7 times. I was running through the woods. I actually still have like a little mark somehow on my heel. And I was like, that was like weeks ago. I don't know. It was a good experience.
All right.
All right.
So today is the last day of the internship. So they'll have a couple weeks off. We have some of the internships are on our website. Hopefully we're getting the rest of them up there next week. So if you guys are interested in applying again, make sure you take a look at them and apply because the work continues. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for coming, and we're going to have some drawings now, and also big kudos to Nick, who's been really keeping us going here with his technology expertise, as well as he made those. Want to tell them about those cards you made?
So in lieu of not having a booklet this year and trying something different, we have little trading cards with all the interns on them. So you can read their bios or abstracts and just look at them. They're very cool. You can trade them. So.
And you can trade them.
They're all up there. Dulce has an excellent spread. And we're giving them for free tonight. Every other night they're getting $5. Yeah. Okay. No problem.